Unit assessment, patrons, artists, and scholars. Reading comprehension. Read the two selections about the city of Venice during the Renaissance movement. After reading the first selection, Venice, Jewel of the Adriatic, answer the questions based on the text before reading the second selection. Venice, Jewel of the Adriatic, a glittering city. Built on 117 small islands, Venice in northern Italy was the world's most important commercial city in 1500. Venice's islands are located in the middle of a lagoon. The islands are divided by more than 150 canals and connected by more than 400 bridges. Many of its buildings rest on pillars driven into the mud. Long ago, Venice was safe from attack. Enemy ships found it impossible to move in the shallow waters. Venice also had a strong navy. The people of Venice, called Venetians, were proud of their splendid city. Visitors admired the city too. A French diplomat visiting Venice was very impressed with this unusual city. The houses are very large and lofty and built of stone, he reported. Most of them have rich marble chimney pieces, gold-colored bed frames and doors, and beautiful furnishings. It is the most triumphant city I have ever seen. How did Venice gain its prosperity? Venice built its wealth mostly on trade. Over 2 centuries, the Venetians created an extensive trading empire. Venetians wanted to gain more and more territory so they could carry on their trading activities without interference. Its efficient navy gave Venice the military force it needed to defend a large trading empire. Its unique form of government gave it the stability it needed to establish and maintain this empire. Venice was not a monarchy. It was a republic whose government was controlled by the city-state's leading families. The head of the government was called the Doge, which comes from the Latin word dux, meaning leader. Members of the Greater Council chose a Doge to serve for their duration of his life. This council also selected some of its members to serve in other governmental bodies. The governmental bodies included a Senate and a Committee for Public Safety. The Doge was Venice's chief of state. However, the council and the other governmental bodies held the real power. As in most other republics up to that time, not all Venetians could participate in government. At the end of the 1200s, the Great Council passed a law. The law said only adult male descendants of men who had sat in the council before 1297 CE could be members. The name of everyone eligible was written down in what became known as the Golden Book. Only about 200 families were named in the book, but some newcomers were admitted. They became hereditary rulers of Venice. Printing advances. Venice made a notable contribution to classical learning by encouraging the development of the new craft of printing. By 1500 CE, this city-state alone had more than 200 printing presses. Because many printers were scholars, they devoted themselves to publishing classical manuscripts, particularly those of ancient Greece. Venice's greatest artist. Of all the arts of which Renaissance Venice became known, painting was the foremost. Venetian painter Tiziano Vicelli was a highly respected artist. People now refer to him as Titian. Born about 1488 CE, he studied with Venice's most important painters, beginning at age 9 or 10. When his long career came to an end in 1576 CE, he was a great master. Titian's paintings conveyed emotions and feelings. His use of color and his use of oil paints gave his works a rich and luxurious feel. Among Titian's most famous paintings is the Assumption of the Virgin. This powerful work illustrated the Virgin Mary being taken to heaven. Decline of Venice. Venice eventually lost its place as the world's most important trading power. One reason for this decline was the Muslim Turks' successful challenge of Venetian dominance in the Mediterranean. In addition, Portuguese explorers discovered new sea routes to the Far East. These new routes turned trade away from the Mediterranean and Middle East to the Atlantic Ocean. However, Venice remained an independent state until it became part of the new nation of Italy in 1866. Passage 2. Venice 6th January 1506 CE. To the Honorable and Wise Willibald Herkheimer in Nuremberg. My dearest master, I wish you and your family a happy new year. I am in good health and I hope you are even better. Now I'd like to tell you about the job you asked me to do, to buy a few pearls and precious stones. I want you to know that I can find nothing good enough or worthy the money. Everything is snapped up by the Germans. Traders expect 4 times the value of for anything. They are the biggest villains that live there. No one expects to get an honest service of them. For that reason, some good people warned me to be on my guard against them. They told me that they cheat both good men and bad men. They also told me you could buy better things for less money at Frankfurt than at Venice. As for the books which I was to order for you, our friend has already taken care of it. If you are in need of anything, let me know. I will do it for you with great enthusiasm. If there is any way I can help you, I will gladly do it. I know how much you do for me. And I beg of you to be patient with my debt, for I think oftener of it than you do. As soon as God helps me to get home, I will pay you honorably, and many thanks. I can repay you with money I earn from painting a picture for the Germans. They are giving me much more money for the painting than it will cost me to make it. I will have finished laying and scraping the groundwork in 8 days. Then I will begin to paint. If all goes well, it will be complete and ready for the church a month after Easter. Albright Juror, 7th February, 1506 CE. Dear Master, I wrote you recently. I hope the letter reached you. In the meantime, my mother was written to me, scolding me for not writing to you. She also said you are unhappy with me because I do not write you. She said I must apologize to you. I do not have a good excuse, except that I am lazy about writing and you have not been at home. As soon as I knew you were at home or were coming home, I wrote to you at once. Therefore, I most humbly beg you to forgive me, for I have no other friend on earth but you. I hope you are not angry with me, because you are like a father to me. How I wish you were here in Venice. There are so many good fellows among the Italians who seek my company, and more every day. This makes me very happy. Some of the men who show me friendship are scholars, good lute players and pipers, painters, honest men, and noblemen. On the other hand, there are also faithless, lying, thievish rascals. I did not believe such evil could exist on earth. They are so deceptive that if you do not know them, you would think they were the nicest men on earth. I cannot help laughing to myself when they talk to me. They know people are aware of their evil acts, but that does not bother them. I have many good friends among the Italians who warn me not to eat and drink with their painters. They say many painters are my enemies and copy my work in the churches and wherever they can find it. Even though they copy my work, they criticize it and claim it is not done in the antique style. They also say it is no good, but the famous painter Bellini has praised me highly to many gentlemen. He would like to have something of mine. He even came to me himself and asked me to create something for him. He said that he would pay well for it too. Everyone tells me that an honest man he is, so that I am really friendly with him. He is very old, and yet he is the best painter of all. Albrecht Drewer.